Hey, welcome back to World Entertainment. And of course, last Thursday, the world lost a legend, that being none other than Chuck Norris, Walker, Texas Ranger, the Delta Force. We all know him, we all loved him. The guy is an absolute legend. But, unfortunately, as expected, all the scum have come out of the woodwork to crap all over this guy's legacy. None other than the mainstream media is using his death to push their political messaging. That's right, the absolute trash rag that is Variety, and the scumbag who wrote the article named William Earl wrote the headline of "Chuck Norris was a great action star, but politics may overshadow his legacy." Now, what this guy is talking about isn't even actually Chuck Norris's politics, whether he leaned to the left or leaned to the right, but what he portrayed on the screen is giving the go-ahead for the far right. You'll see what I mean. And it's absolutely disgusting that this piece of absolute human shit, that is this guy William Earl, wrote this article right on the heels of the death of the legend that is Chuck Norris. So he started off his article by writing this. He writes a quote that Chuck Norris delivers and then praises the guy. So he started off by this: "You're nothing but a chicken shit weasel who thrives on the misery of others. And when death calls, you'll be screaming like a baby." Chuck Norris delivers this incredibly badass line to bad guy Ramon Cota near the end of 1990's Delta Force 2, The Colombian Connection. His combination of great quips, big kicks, glistening muscles, huge guns and tight jeans made Norris, who died Thursday at 86, the all-American archetype of the muscled action star. While many of his contemporaries, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme and Seagal, whatever reason they put him in there, seemed larger than life with big accents and hulking frames, Norris felt commissioned by the military to prove what a good, strong man was. So you're seeing they're starting to talk about like this guy, he is the standard of the American action hero and stuff. And he went on and on, talked about his movies and stuff and how he was made out as the all-American loner who has to gun down the outsiders who threatened his way of life and blah blah blah, and he goes on and on that he fights for his country, for justice and all of this type of stuff. So he was bigging him up and talking about like who Chuck Norris is and what he did in all these movies and all that kind of stuff, and how he really was like the emphasis of the American hero. And then he got to this stage where he flips the script on his whole article and just starts using the death of Chuck Norris. Not the life or the movies he did, but the death of Chuck Norris to say, oh, this is a bad thing for America. Because he writes this: "Was Norris a brilliant athlete and top shelf star? Yes. But there's no denying that his roles were part of a body of work used to show American strength, might, and the pernicious attraction of taking the law into one's own hands. Something that seems less fun in a year in which our country is funneling money into bombing Iran and ICE agents are acting like one-man militias. Given our nation's divisions in morality, information literacy and overall sense of reality, it's easier to see Norris characters as justification for a fringe conspiracy movement rather than a moral standing. When patriotism and laws shift away from the Constitution, what side does a gunslinger land on?" You just see the absolute stupidity of this fucking retard writing this article. To start with, this is a dipshit who cannot comprehend what is entertainment and what is reality, because if he is connecting the two of them together, then clearly he doesn't know one from the other. He's trying to make the argument that all the people on the far right who are supporting ICE and all this stuff, They will take up guns and run out into the street and start shooting anyone that they think is a threat to their way of life. No, that's not happening, because if that was going to happen, that would have happened years ago. So why would it only now be happening? It wouldn't, would it? So while Hollywood, this is them saying, while Hollywood takes endless shots for being too liberal or left-leaning, it's a short-sighted criticism considering the industry's decades of glorifying American military strength. Ultimately, genre fans can appreciate Norris as a larger-than-life marquee figure, but it's a unique twist on separating the art from the artist. When a star is the poster boy for American exceptionalism and might, at what point does his legacy transition from escapism to dangerous propaganda? Once again, I would like to stress that if art was going to start imitating life the way they're trying to announce this through the characters that Chuck Norris portrayed, it would have happened fucking years ago, not right now. Not just because the guy dies, all of a sudden people are going to pick up arms and run out into the streets and start shooting anybody and everybody that disagrees with them. Again, put yourself into the mindset of the idiot writing this and what he's trying to justify his argument as being. That how dare Chuck Norris, who he celebrated at the start and saying that badass line came from the Delta Force 2 and stuff, to now he's saying how dare he make movies where it shows America being a military strength and stuff, which they are. So what's the issue here? What are you expecting them to roll over and be wimps all the time or something? So then he writes this, and this is the most insane part. As a lifelong fan of Norris, it brings me no joy to consider this messaging of his work as a whole. It'd be a lot more fun to shut my brain off and enjoy these sturdy action classics, but it gives me hope for the future, where outrageous law enforcement and one-man militants are fantasy only in a world seen on a VHS copy of 85's Invasion USA. Then we can be thankful it's just a movie. Sweet Lord of Jesus Christ. So this guy is saying he's a massive fan of Chuck Norris, that he feels bad that Chuck Norris has died, that he loves Chuck Norris's movies, but then goes ahead and shits all over the legacy of Chuck Norris and his movies to say it's too American, it's too patriotic, it's too focused on the military, it's too badass. How dare he be able to defeat these other people? It's all propaganda and conspiracy. Again, if it truly was that, it would have happened years ago, not now. And why is it only Chuck Norris movies then that would do it? Why would not any and every movie not push that type of crap? Do you think this guy sat there and watched the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan and thought to himself, yeah, you fuckers running on the beach deserved it? That sounds like the type of mindset of this idiot who's writing this. It's so bizarre. And the fact that he's trying to say how much he loves Chuck Norris, but then uses Chuck Norris as this object of propaganda to say the right is bad, and his all-American style in movies is the thing that's going to push the catalyst, that's going to push all of this right-wing agenda. Holy shit. Is the fucking mainstream media a toxic dumping ground of horrible, horrible people? My good God. To even sit there and be able to write that type of shit is insane. Absolutely insane. These type of companies, Variety and shit, they can't die quick enough. And I'm talking about the companies, not the people. So, think of it. They're trying to take the moral high ground with this crap. Look at Rolling Stone. Remember what they did? Don't forget. Rolling Stone is a rag that put the Boston bomber on the cover and tried to make him look like a rock star. Do you remember that? Because I sure as shit do. And I'm not even American. So yeah, the sooner these rags go under, the absolute better. Chuck Norris, they're lucky he's gone. Because my God, would he just roundhouse kick their ass into the next goddamn century. So, from me to Chuck Norris, may the legend absolutely rest in peace, and may his family have peace in the mind that he had fans that love everything he did, and we respect and love that man. R.I.P. Chuck Norris. Variety, go fuck yourself. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, I was. But after 5 days of agonizing pain, the cobra died.